right, what up, YouTube family? We're back for episode 5. We want to talk about the Mandela Effect. So, to give a quick breakdown of what the Mandela Effect is, it's basically based off of Nelson Mandela, who was born Eastern Cape. I can't pronounce the name, it's MVENO or something like that. But he's born July 18th, 1918, okay? And he ended up dying in 2013. Now, there are plenty of people out there who believe that he actually ended up dying in prison. Therefore, ergo, they said that there was a newspaper article saying that this happened to him. But others remember him actually living on, and which is his current reality, him getting out of prison, becoming the president of South Africa in 1994, and he served only one term, which was the promise that he made, was to serve just one term. We know that he went to prison several times for fighting for rights and freedoms for people, for democracy within this country. And so there were times where he was close to death while in prison. It does talk about how he had pancreatic cancer surgery or something like that. I had to go back and look at that. But the real, and this is a picture of him right here. I'm gonna pop that up on the screen for you so you can see who I'm talking about. But it clearly shows that this is a real picture that shows that I think he was actually serving as president at the time, and he was in his 80s. He was 80 something years old when he was president of South Africa. Okay, but now that we got that out the way, here's the conspiracy. The conspiracy is that the Mandela Effect is based off of somebody messing with reality. One, some of us know that cannot be true. Otherwise, if he died in prison, he wouldn't have been the president of South Africa, which is also known news, okay? So most people think that what happened was he died in prison, but that wasn't supposed to happen, and that somehow somebody messed with reality, and here he is as president of South Africa and died in 2013. Now, this Mandela Effect can be, and this is my theory on it, by the way, this Mandela Effect can be contributed, and we can say, what if this actually happened, is that somebody is actually messing with time. We're not going to get into it deep. When we talk about the Stargate project, we'll get into it more. But somebody's actually messing with time. We know for a fact that there are certain events that have been changed, whereas other things are just updated stuff. So if people tell you, oh, it's always been this way, they're lying. We know what it was, but that has nothing to do with Mandela Effect. Most companies update the image and logos and stuff like that, so we can't say, oh, it was this and now it's this, and then say, oh, well, that's the Mandela Effect. And we'll go over some of these real quick. Now, I'm going to start popping up on the screen right now the different Mandela Effect theories. We're going to go over each one, and then I'm going to tell you what I think at the end of everything, what my theory about the whole entire thing is, okay? Now, this first one we talk about Looney Tunes. Okay, so as you see that you got the TOO and then the TUNES one, okay? Now, what I remember when I was a kid was the TUNES one, okay? That's the one I remember. I do not remember seeing the double O's on there, okay? Maybe that's a new logo type of thing that they started up with, but when I was younger, I do remember these tunes, because the thing was, it was a reason behind why they put it as TUNES, and it had something to do with basically the cartoons felt like a musical. You know what I'm saying? And it felt like you were watching music, and it felt like everything flowed. That's the reason why a lot of the episodes always had the background music playing in the background, because it felt like each episode went based off of the music itself. Okay, so we got that one. Okay, so next one up is the Berenstain Bears. Okay, most people remember it as Berenstain Bears. Others say that the Berenstain Bears. What I remember it as is as the Berenstain Bears with the E in there. I don't remember the A in there. I don't. I remember the E. Okay, when I was a little kid, I specifically remember the E. Okay. Maybe they decided to put an A in there now, okay? But the lie and say it's always been an A, no, it has not. There's actually proof that somebody showed on one of their YouTube channels. I can't remember who it was, but the original Berenstein Bears books actually had an E on there, okay? So we know that's not a Mandela. That probably not a Mandela effect. They probably changed the advertising in order to get more publicity. They lied and claimed that it's always been A. That's easy to do. Okay, now this is a good one because when this first came out on HBO, Sex in the City, I remember it being called Sex in the City. I remember being called that, Sex in the City. This Sex and the City, I don't remember that. I don't remember this right here. I do remember the Sex in the City one. Like I said, that's one of those ones where they could have just updated the name on that. Now, here's a good one right here. I do remember Oscar Mayer with the E. Because this looks like it says Oscar Mayer. But I do remember the Oscar Mayer with the E. Some people claim it always had the A on there. Like I said, that's another one of those things. Okay, now here we go. It used to be Fruit Loops, but they did update it to the double O's. So most of these companies are trying to catch on to the Mandela Effect train for publicity. We know that it used to literally say Fruit Loops, right? But some people also remember it saying Fruity Loops. Not like the sound beat maker system that you can download, but actually said Fruity Loops. Some people remember that as well. Okay. Now the Monopoly guy, I'm gonna be honest with you, he did have the focal. In the older Monopoly games, he had the focal. Yes, in the older ones. In the newer ones, they took out the focal because they want to modernize it. This is not a Mandela effect. From what I remember, they actually said the reason why, and a lot of people got mad when they removed the bifocal, but I think it was Milton Bradley actually announced and put out an announcement saying why they changed it, why they took off the bifocal, because they wanted to modernize it. Okay. Next one we're looking at is Pikachu. When I remember the first alteration of Pikachu, I remember he had the black tail, but the current alteration has him with the brown tail down here without the black tip on the end of the tail. So I remember the original Pikachu with the black tip on the end when he first came out. Okay, that could have been another update in design. Kitkat, I do remember Kitkat with the dash. The current new Kitkats don't have the dash on there. Do remember that. I do remember this though. So when Fruit of the Loom first came out, when you were younger, I know everybody remembers it had the basket on there. It had the fruit basket on there, as if the fruits were falling out the basket, right? Now they're trying to say that that never happened. We already know that's probably a change. That's one of the marketing things that people are trying to jump on the bandwagon for because of the Mandela effect. Now, here's an interesting one. Now, I can explain this one. Maybe at a particular time, we thought that he was all gold. Let me tell you something. It could have been a trickery of the eyes. So our eyes see the rest of his body as gold, right? So if there's any alterations in there, our brain is telling us that his whole entire body is gold because we expect for his whole entire body to be gold. But because the chrome looks similar in reflection to the gold, we're thinking that he's all gold. When basically, one of his legs was basically chrome. That's a theory. Now, I'm not saying it actually happened, but that could be what happened. But far as I remember it, he was all gold. But then again, if we're watching the movie, we're not going to pay attention to his leg being a chrome color when it's similar to in reflection to the rest of his outfit. If it didn't have that much reflection on there, we would have noticed it. But that's probably where that comes from. Now, here's the infamous one. I remember hearing Luke, I am your father. They're saying that the actual line is, no, I am your father. When you look back at the recording, what Luke says in that conversation, it didn't make sense for him to say, no, I am your father. You know what I'm saying? but at the same time with Darth Vader being who he is, right? So we know that the line says that Luke says that you killed my father. And then the reciprocating line is supposed to be like, no, I am your father. Plenty of people think he said, Luke, I am your father, and that Luke said a different line before that part. Others remember that Luke did say that line that you killed my father, and that Darth Vader said, no, Luke, I am your father. So there's plenty of different ways that that line could have easily have been said. Now, the masterpiece, what they call Snow White. Now, we all remember, I don't know if this some like something they started, but as a kid I remember in the movie she said, mirror mirror on the wall. Now they're claiming that she said magic mirror on the wall. Now, magic and mirror, they, even though they begin with the sound, jig and ear are two distinct different sounds that everybody's going to remember. So, could have been that she always said magic mirror on the wall, and we thought she said mirror mirror on the wall. We wanted to say that because many Mandela effects could be contributed to that. Maybe we misheard or heard what we wanted to hear and claimed that's what it was. Now, here's a good one. Now, I do remember when she accepted this Oscar, she said, you love me. You really, really love me. I remember seeing the video of her saying that. But now they're saying she said something completely different. Like, I know that you all love me or something like that. But I remember when she accepted that award and she stressfully said it. And she's doing it like she was in character. And she said, you love me. You really, really love me. Like she was in character. So I do remember her saying that. Now, a lot of people are saying that Leonardo DiCaprio won an Oscar earlier. Now, I thought that he won an Oscar for What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I thought he was 16 years old when he even won the Oscar. So I thought that he was 16 years old when he played the character of Gilbert Grape, and he won an Oscar for What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Now, they said not only did he only get an Academy Award nomination for the role, but he was actually 19 when he won it. But I could have sworn at one point they claimed Leonardo DiCaprio was the youngest winner of an Academy Award until there was another lady that, another young girl that beat him at 12 years old when she got it. But here or there. But yeah, here's another infamous one. I remember Jiffy, people. I remember living in a certain house when I was a kid, and we went to go get Jiffy mix, Jiffy peanut butter mix, right? So my thing is they probably changed it because of another company also using that same name, and they didn't want to get confused. So they changed it from Jiffy to just Jif, because here's the thing: you got the Y fit in sequence to the rest of the wording. Not only that, you got the R on there, so which is like a registered trademark. So plenty of people remember it saying Jiffy. I remember it saying Jiffy, but maybe I'm getting it confused with Jiffy corn mix. That could be it right there. Okay, so we went to a certain website to get those Mandela effects and stuff like that. Here's my theory on the whole thing. I think a reason why a lot of people are experiencing the Mandela effect is because maybe there's two reasons. One could be that we see what we really want to see. I forgot what it's called where we try to see patterns and everything, but maybe that's not how to do. Maybe it's that we wanted to hear Luke, I am your father, because it sounded better, because it flowed better. Maybe we wanted to hear mirror mirror on the wall instead of magic mirror on the wall, because magic mirror doesn't flow that good, but mirror mirror on the wall seems like something that it can flow good with. You know what I'm saying? But I do remember the E in Bearstein Bears, because I remember it be pronounced Bearstein Bears, not Bearstein Bears, but Bearstein Bears. Okay, but half these could be contributed to the marketing. Maybe these companies went ahead and just changed it and upgraded the logos and the name and properties and stuff like that. So that could also be it. Now, does a Mandela effect actually exist? Is it actually real? Yes, it could be. Here's why. The Mandela effect could be real due to the simple fact, and I want you to pay attention to this. It could be real due to the simple fact that there is people who are, and I need to put that down as another episode, who are experimenting with time travel. Now, here's the thing. When you go back in time, right? Say, for instance, somebody at some underground lab somewhere go back in time, right? They change something. They come back, right? Now, technically, when you... Oh, man, I wish I had something. Okay, so let's say, for instance, you have this reality, right? We're going to call this reality A, or universe 616. Okay, so you have this reality right here, okay? Now, say, for instance, you decide to travel back in time, you change something. You're not going to come back to this reality. So in our reality, in our perspectives, that person who went back in time left this reality. But when they return, they don't if they change anything in the past, them being in the past is changing something. Now, them coming here, they're not going to be in our reality. They're going to be in a different reality within their perception. But then it goes to what came first, the chicken or the egg. You see what I'm saying? So it's so complicated, complex. It's not easy to answer. But maybe the effects of people traveling through time is what caused people who are sensitive to changes, in people who are empaths, to sense that deja vu type feeling. Like, oh, I've been here before. Maybe you have been there before, but because of reality resetting, probably when you're asleep, you end up eventually getting back to that same place again. Why? Because somebody probably went back in time, changed something, and then while you were asleep, reality reset. Okay? Because here's the thing when we talk about reality. Our perception of reality with each other is not the same. Imagine that this is my theory. I think that all of us are living our own reality, our own experience, and the people we are talking to are only shells of their own selves. So say, for instance, that I'm in reality A, and the girl I'm with, herself is in reality H, but I'm interacting with her reality A version that's in my reality, but her real self could be in reality H. Do you see what I'm saying? So maybe the person that you're interacting with may not be the real person, because that person's real spiritual self is in a different reality. So we're all living our own realities, but we're interacting with shells of other beings' realities. Okay? And our realities are designed specifically for us. So it is used to test us. So in our reality, we may live what seems like over 200 to 300 years, but in everybody else's reality, it could be 94 years. Oh, he lived to be 94 years old. But to you, it don't feel like 94 years. It could feel like 20 years, or it could feel like 200 years. It's all due to perception of reality. So what if we all are living our own realities, and if somebody goes back in time, they're altering the state of their own reality, which is causing a wave to mess with other realities, in which certain events actually repeat themselves because the space-time was messed with in the first place. I'm not a scientist. I'm just giving a theory on this. I'm not a scientist. But what if our altering realities are being bothered because the simple fact, and the reason why we're having deja vus and experiencing events again, or we dream events and then experience them, is because somebody is literally going back in time and they messing with us. They straight up messing with us. So that's how I see it. I see it as maybe a Mandela type effect actually exists when it comes to certain objects and certain things, but these right here can be contributed to just businesses messing with you and trying to jump on the Mandela effect to sell more product, you know, and get that, advertisement out there, get themselves out there. But at the end of the day, I think that we all live different realities, and that within these different realities, there are sometimes where they cross each other or something like that. But other than that, we each live our own reality. And then at the end of our lifespan, we get judged on the reality that we live in, and that allows us to live the next reality based off the previous reality that we lived in. Okay, and we keep reliving these realities until we ascend ourselves mentally to be fifth dimensional beings again. That's just my theory. So that could be what's happening. That could be what's happening. Like I said, comment down below what you think. Me personally, I think the Mandela effect is not exactly a hoax, but it's something that people are using to play on, because a lot of these could be contributed to companies updating merchandise, updating products, updating the image of the product. A lot of that could be contributed to that. So what I'm going to say is that be cool, and then be safe, because they're basically watching you.